Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tuvos, and welcome back to another DCS World live stream. Thank you all for joining. For anyone who is sticking around in the chat, thank you all for joining along with this little adventure. As you can probably tell, we are inside of the OH-6A Loach, or Soyuz, or Little Bird, if you will. Although I believe the term Little Bird came later, and this is very much the OG OH-6 sort of aircraft. This is a mod. It is not an official module, but it is very, very well done. And today, we're going to be using it to explore the Kola map. You guys can tell by the thumbnail of this particular stream, we are going to explore this new terrain that is out by Orbx and see what it looks like from down below and see if it's really any good or if it's gotten all the heat that it's gotten and is whether or not that's well deserved. So we will simply be flying around in the OH-6, taking a look at a number of different areas, both the high detail and low detail areas, and seeing what they're all like. Feel free to leave your live reactions in the comments in the stream. Let me know what you guys think, and give me some pointers. If there's any areas you think I should be checking out specifically, let me know. I'll give those areas a look, especially if there's any areas that have any, like, really egregious errors in their layout or design. Hey Luke, how's it going? Man, I gotta give the OH-6 another go. Yeah, it's, it is definitely a handful. It's gonna take a lot of practice. Luckily, there was a recent update to bring it up to 1.1, and they've included a bunch of missing binds that were missing from its original release. So now I'm actually able to fly it without having to resort to joystick gremlin. Speaking of which, before I do anything, let me make sure this is set. Okay, yeah, good. We're at 60 FPS. That's kind of key right now because they just added collective up and down as a button bind. And unfortunately, at 120 frames per second, it moves too fast. It's too sensitive. So I need to limit myself to 60 frames a second if I want to be in control of this collective. Oh, cool, again, didn't get far enough into flying to get more than basics bound. Yeah, fair enough. So we will go ahead and just take off and take a look at this immediate area. So this first place we're looking at is going to be the city of... Oh boy, I don't know how to pronounce any of these names, so I'm absolutely going to butcher this, but looks like Rovaniemi, I think is the way you pronounce that. Anyways, either way, that's where we're starting, and then we'll work our way down the list. I have a bunch of spawns littered throughout the map, so one here, one up here to the top right, one up here to the north, one more to the south, and a couple to the west, as well as one additional one for target practice in case we want to get some action. Alrighty, enough lollygagging. Let's go ahead and take off and pray we don't die. Was an okay takeoff. I don't really care about being as stable as possible. Let's take a look and see what these areas are like. So far, though, doesn't look too bad. Trees are just DCS trees. I heard that the trees that are used in this map do not represent the trees that you would find in this particular area of the world. Or at the very least, I believe the trees here are fine, but when you get up to the mountains and further north, they should be changing to like pine trees or something along those lines. So those are issues I've heard. So let's build up some speed, get a tiny little bit of altitude just so we can get a slight bird's eye view of what these houses and areas look like. So far it looks pretty good. Nothing out of the ordinary. You have clearly defined I don't even want to call it, like different clearly defined sectors of a particular city. So you have like residential here, you have industry and work areas. I imagine there's probably a port somewhere in this direction along the water. Doesn't look too bad. The sheer amount of forest should make for a really interesting air to ground. Yeah, absolutely. Like if there was a map for getting getting warfare amongst trees, this would be one of them. Like short of a Vietnam map, for example. Because there is just a ton of trees. With very little in the way of life and civilization in between. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple of these buildings up close. Because I'm curious what this looks like. And now that we've flown around a little bit for a slight bird's eye view, I want to see what these buildings look like up close and see if they're anything to write home about. Because I know, for example, the buildings in Syria are actually pretty nice. Like, they have, like, weathering built into their textures. There's a good variety of building types. And so far, the variety has been looking pretty nice just from the bird's eye view. What I am curious about are the textures for these buildings, but also kind of their placement relative to the terrain, because I know there's issues with terrain, especially like if you look directly ahead. You can see that this building's been placed on terrain and it kind of like gets eaten by the terrain geometry here. So I'm wondering if it's truly that bad or if it's acceptable. Because the moment anything starts hanging out of the ground, that's when I start feeling like it's not acceptable. But if it's kind of dipping into the ground like that, I mean, there's only so much you could do without having it just protrude out of the ground. I'd much rather have it dip into the ground than extend out of the ground. I mean, there's already a nice variety in this small section. We've got a little parking lot here with a bunch of different types of cars. Different colors. Even though there's a bunch of like the same types of cars, at least they have a variety of colors, which isn't unusual. I mean, that's basically real world. Like, all these cars in the back are very clearly the same car, but at least there are a bunch of different colors. It's like living in California where every other person owns a Tesla. So it's not unusual, it's just something to keep note of. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad for being just static placements of cars. You can see the polygons, but, I mean, can see that normally anyways, so whatever. Not crash and die. Also, this building looks pretty sweet. Look at the textures of the wood. You can actually tell the weathering on the wood of this barn-looking thing. That actually looks really nice. That's actually really well done. Not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, let's shift over to another building. So, maybe there's some buildings that have been touched up on a lot, and others that definitely need some love. So let's take a look at these guys. Got this brick building that looks pretty convincing. I mean, minus, and there's one pet peeve of mine. So it's okay if buildings are placed such that like the entrances, like the entranceways to them are well above to what people can actually walk up and use the door at. I'm okay with that. But once the building starts leaving the ground like this down here, that's when I start having issue. That's a little bit of a problem. That's not the worst. Like, you can't fit a vehicle under there and just hide it inside a building. But this is like getting to where I don't like what I'm seeing. But again, there's only so much you can do, because all buildings must be placed so that they're horizontal relative to gravity. And if you put them on a very slanted hill, then there's really no escaping this unless you like manually find a way to just drop this down into the ground along with everything else. But at the same time, you could tell, I believe they tried aligning it with the building that's right next to it, or maybe it's all part of the same asset. That I'm not sure. Looks like they, oh yeah, they're all part of the same asset. So yeah. Checks and balances. Give up one thing, you take another thing. It is what it is, especially on slopes. But overall, the quality of the textures don't look great, or don't look bad. I'm actually enjoying these quite a bit. The variety of buildings and colors, that's also really nice. Now let's pop up a bit and see what it's like from a higher elevation. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't too bad. I'm actually enjoying this. One complaint I would have is like there isn't a lot of like high-rise buildings and apartments and things like that, but for all I know, those just don't exist in the real-world counterpart. Like, you would only ever get 1, 2, maybe 3-story buildings, not like 10 or 15-story buildings in these parts of the world. So who knows? But is that? I wonder if that's a reference. Hold on. What is this? There's like actual words on this building, so I'm curious what it says. It's probably in a language I don't understand. Is that a thing? I don't know what that is. My immediate thought is this is some kind of auto shop or something, but I have no idea what any of these words mean. Harjata, even, Tigaput, Malatu. I have no idea. I don't know what any of those words mean or if I'm saying them right. Still though, the variety of buildings is really nice. Different color palettes. It looks great. Finish for room furniture? Oh, it's a furniture store. Oh, gotcha. Thank you for that. So you've got themed buildings, depending on the area you're in. Like, what is this down here? That looks like a food place? Oh, don't die, don't die, don't die. We're good, we're good, we're good. Oh, I think we found a bit of textures here that are a little off. So let's take a look at this. So see the side of this building here? You could see that there was supposed to be like windows or something, but clearly they didn't make their way into the final render or something, who knows. But there's clearly something missing here. So that's a little meh to me. It's not the end of the world, but seeing something like that is just a little ugh. Oh, it's supposed to be garage doors. What the heck? I wonder if it's like an LOD issue. It's almost like, oh yeah, maybe so. Okay, so now that I'm like super close, it looks like actual garage doors. But the moment I back up, like to the next level of LOD, maybe it just like fades into just mush. Yeah. Or perhaps that's, wow, yeah, that just fades away into mush. Okay, perhaps that's an LOD issue. That's weird. That's very strange to me. I got this map for Cold War Navy Ops. It's the location for that scenario. Oh, absolutely. I mean, in fact, isn't there like a whole runway dedicated to those kinds of operations? Or, well, not necessarily Navy operations, but like, isn't there like a highway/runway combination somewhere in the middle of the map? So overall, I'm impressed. I'm impressed so far. I'm not a native to this area of the world, so I wouldn't know what's 100% like representative of the real thing or not. I mean, that's the second time we've seen that food place, but in a different location. Third time we've seen it. It's like a McDonald's. There's one every block, or Starbucks. There's one every block. So maybe it's not that unusual. The BAS 100 is the road base. Pretty cool to fly out of. Yeah. And I know there's some people who have made complaints that the road base, for example, doesn't have enough like cracks in the texture or whatever. I personally, I mean, yeah, it would be cool to see that kind of weathering into the runway. But at the same time, that feels nitpicky, but I guess everyone has their nitpicks to make. I don't know. I don't know if that kind of like weathering and texturing is really necessary. It'd be a nice attention to detail, but I don't think that's what like breaks. Like if we're talking about stuff that makes or breaks a terrain, that I feel like that does not break a terrain, you know? What would break a terrain is if you have runways that are like misaligned. Like let's say let's say they say runway 27, but they're like 20 in reality. Like that kind of misaligned. There could be assets of the runway that are misaligned that could probably be fixed with an update and a hotfix, but as long as they match the expectations, like for navigation and TACAN and things like that, then I can't imagine it being game or, module or terrain breaking, you know? Nothing is flawless, but I do think parts of the DCS community make a point of finding as much as possibly negative about sometimes. Yeah, so being negative doesn't necessarily mean you're being... Oh boy, how can I phrase that? being negative doesn't necessarily mean you're an a-hole. To simply put, you're being critical about something that you enjoy. So if you bring up valid points and you're not kind of an a-hole about delivering those points, then yeah, you're absolutely making a valid case. You want to see something do better, you enjoy it, and you want to see it to become better. But if you're just complaining to complain and you're pointing out things that are honestly just nitpick level, like just grievances, then, man. Especially if you're like overblowing it. That's when I have issue with it. But having legitimate issues and wanting to see them fixed, and understanding that, yes, this is an early access release, things are not going to be perfect, especially, you know, within a week of release. And yeah, of course. That's fine. Seeing that a lot in the community lately, especially on Twitter. Anywhere online. Anywhere online. Also, welcome guys. I already said welcome to Luke, but Lokian, as well as Bumpy, welcome to the chat. And here's a little residential area. This has a really good variety. Like, this feels like a residential area. I mean, of course there's a little weirdness, like with the way the roads are, but for all I know, this is how the real world roads are like, where they just feel like they're kind of plopped in. And also not wide enough to hold two cars, barely one car. But overall, this feels nice. Always sucks to see when someone talk about how they enjoy something on Discord and have someone respond telling them how it's actually bad and they shouldn't enjoy for XY. So, oh man. And that's what happens when you enter a realm of public discussion, right? Like, F you for having your own valid opinion. Here's why you're wrong. And I mean, and it's a public forum, so like there's, if you put your opinion out there and it gets challenged, I mean, that's kind of to be expected, but it does suck if it happens more often than not, because no one wants to always feel like they're being challenged on their opinion. It's tiring, man. Like, it's a pain in the butt to have to deal with that day in, day out. Sometimes you just want to celebrate that something is great. And if there's always someone out there who's just like, no, it's not great because they forgot to add this rivet and this bolt to section A4 of this panel, yeah, that's kind of a hassle. Alright, so we've checked out this area, which is to the north. That's what happens whenever Tuvas says Xbox. Yes. There's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to Xbox, or rather just gamepad use in DCS. Now, strangely enough, on Hoggit, there's actually a pretty good acceptance of controller use in DCS. I think, especially ever since I've been like showing off what's possible with a controller. Hey, Space Monkey, welcome. Very slick fire extinguisher. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, this module looks great. Like, if I get it in just the right light, this front console here, this shines just the right way to make it so believable. Like, there's a bit of like fingerprints here, a little bit of scratches there. It looks so real. Go find my old house now, Tuvas, and oh god, dude, I have no idea where that is. Like, I barely know where I am in my own state in the United States. There's no way I'm gonna find that in DCS. But if you can point me where to go, then I'll go there. It's just that, you know, I don't want to dox your old location. Now, to be fair, DCS is not like dox level recreations of the real world. It's not like a terrain scan of every single building. So it's not MSFS. So maybe it's not really that bad. But still, you could check out your old neighborhood. Flight Sim has never been as awesome as it is today. Now, currently, these are the best days. Oh, absolutely, Blake. Absolutely. We are in a golden age of Flight Sim. With BMS improving as much as it has, and only with more stuff to improve with, DCS getting so many updates, we've got even mods of this caliber. The OH-6 mod, it's a free mod. People can download this and fly this for free. And it's a fantastic mod. Granted, it's a very simple aircraft system-wise, but its flight model is one of the best well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know how the real thing handles, but based on my experience with other Halos in DCS, this is one of the best flight models I've ever enjoyed. It's the South Norwegian Air Base. My house is in DCS, more or less, as far as you know. Haven't checked myself, but I've seen the hills it's on. It's right next to the airbase. Alright, so if that's the case, I'm gonna die. And we'll take a look at the map. Because wow, that tiny little bloop. Okay, so here's the map, and here's the southmost airbase. Are you talking about this guy here? Or am I looking at the wrong part of the world? Like, I don't know where countries are. So here's BAS 100. Man, must be a tiny helo. Yeah, I know, right? Just to like go bloop into the water. That's funny. Norway, not... Dude, I have no idea where these countries are, man. Okay, so if this is Sweden, as defined by this yellow line, that must mean this is Norway here on the left. Is that right? Okay. So west coast. Oh, like even further. So this is Norway. This thing here. So are you next to Boda? Like somewhere around here? The OH-6A looks like an awesome mod. Finally, a helicopter is similar to the A4. Oh yeah, absolutely. Now the A4 Skyhawk has a bit more when it comes to systems. So really all we can compare them with is like their quality of flight model. Got it. And luckily enough, I have an OH-6 at Bodo. So let's take a look. Choose slot. I think it's Wester. Yeah, because there's an airbase that's west, and then this is the Wester airbase in that direction. So let's come out of there. Get rid of that, get rid of that, do that. Zoom out. All right, we're gonna need your directions. Is it north, west, east, south of this general location? Actually, what did you say earlier? You said, go find my old house now. It's on Bodo, Norway. Oh, you literally said the name of the place, too. It's in the South Norwegian Air Base. My house is right next to the airbase. I mean, the house is right next to the mental hospital. All right, so I don't know where any of this stuff is, so I'm just going to take off and see if I can't spot anything. So here's the airbase. I'm pretty sure if we fly in this direction, we'll eventually get to the neighboring city, and then we should be able to get our sense of direction after that. 2 seconds. No worries. We'll just fly. Ooh, look at that. Hold on. Hold on. Let's take a look at that really quick. We're probably going to die here, but that's fine. All right. What is inside here? Do hangars just have like these giant buildings inside? Well, not giant buildings, but like hangars so big that there's buildings inside this building? That's kind of crazy. Oh, multiple buildings. What the hell? Wow, crazy. I wonder if these windows are visible from the outside. Like if I go to the other side of this hangar, but on the outside, I'll still be able to see that. Bomber hangar? Actually, you know what? That's probably a good point. That's probably what this is. Because this is gigantic. Let's look around on the other side. Without dying. Without dying. Oh, no, there's like just a bunch of building right behind it, so I wouldn't be able to... Oh, wait, no. No, no. Oh, hey, look at that. There's the windows. I guess that's the Orbx building. That's funny. Alright, that's pretty cool. So the windows line up, I assume. Check Discord. Okay, stand by. Oh boy. How am I gonna do this? So we're there, so it's roughly northeast. Alright. So let's active pause and see if we can figure this out. Okay, so there's a little bit of differences already. But let's see if I could zoom in and figure this out. Alright, so zoom in a bit more. You want the port to barely be visible. Airbase is barely visible here. So what we care about is right here. So there's all these trees. Here's this road. The road, based on the image you sent me, is supposed to extend this way, but it doesn't. So what we're looking for is probably like right here. Right there. So let's put a marker there and see if we can get there. We'll just say SM old place. All right. To the northeast. Let's go. Oh, also, I just remove chat. Okay, there we go. Yes, small offices inside are often inside large hangars. Okay. That's the civil part of the airbase, by the way. I see. Oh, really? So all of this is still airbase. It's just like the residential area that's used by the people that are on the airbase. Very easy to see the hill. It's the only hill in the area. Oh, that means I should be able to just see it, like, now. So there's the port, just off to the left. This is clearly the airbase. I mean, we see all these hills just off in the distance, these guys. Is that what you're talking about? Or is it like here to the... No, it would be here to the left somewhere. And keep in mind, this is hill, not mountains. Okay, got it. So, for reference, those are mountains. So what we're looking for is a hill. And this looks like a tiny little protrusion in the ground. AKA a hill. But let's see. Yeah, I think this is the curve in the road we were talking about. That might not go anywhere. Or is that the curve in the road? Hold on, stand by. Not the hill. Okay. That means it's just a little further away. Let's increase our collective. Take a peek at the map. Okay, just a little bit further ahead. So it must be over here. Like you're still next to the runway. Okay, gotcha. And the place is massive. It'd be cool to see what sort of mission people... Yeah, absolutely. So I'm unfamiliar... Oh, man, I'm so bad when it comes to like historical missions and things like that. I really need to look up all the different stuff that has happened and what's relevant and what isn't. But people say this is a great area to simulate real life events, so like real training situations, real battles or whatever. Well, maybe not real battles, but at least training. Okay, so I must be getting close. I feel like I'm getting close. I overshot it. Let's turn to the right. Oh, is it this here? Is this it? Oh, this must be it. Yeah, this looks like it. Ah, crazy. Look at that. There you go. Cool. How does it feel to see, like, terrain that you're used to? I mean, I don't know if you see your house. Can't imagine you wouldn't. Or can't imagine you would. Did a video earlier about potential Cold War stuff here. Swedish Viggens, of course, but also possibly U.S. Harriers. Ah, interesting. And Tomcats and Phantoms? Wow. That's a lot of action, man. I would not have expected that much action to be possible in this area. We're all gonna raid Space Monkey. Well, keep in mind, this is his old neck of the woods. Also, another pet peeve of mine is clearly visible in this red house down here. So if there's anything I would say is not acceptable in new terrain, it depends on how severe it is, but I went over this earlier. I really, really don't like it when a building is placed on a slope like this, and because it's so slopey, you can't actually get the whole building to be inside the terrain, so you end up with this. I really don't like that. I really, really don't like that. Either make the asset long enough to always be able to phase into the terrain, or push this back, or something. Like, gosh, I really dislike that. Hey, Lude, how's it going? Lud? Lud. I feel like it's Lud. Lude? Lude is something else. The house is red. I'm sure that's a super open plan, but yeah, I know, right? Easy access, and you got another building over here just like it. Anyways. And what's interesting is, technically, this area of the map is part of the low detail area. So this is not even finished. Ooh. Hold up. Sorry, distracted. Distracted. We're going for a ride. Your old house is red. So I can't, we'll go back and see if we can find it, but I imagine it would have been similar to the house we were just criticizing. Let's not try to go under that. Okay, we got this. This is gonna be a train hijack. Oh, no. Oh, come on, guys. Okay, okay, module broken. This did it for me. There's no way this module should have gone live without without a train that has a collision box. Come on. Come on, guys. Immersion broken, that's it. Refunds instantly. This is dumb. Oh, God. Damn. That's heartbreaking. Sorry, guys. Not even early access acceptable. Go get your refunds. It's not possible to ride trains. Man. Alright, we'll head back to Space Monkey's old hill. Are you going to start streaming more often? I don't know yet, Levi. Honestly, whenever I stream, it's just because I feel like it. I really should stream more often because I know a lot of people enjoy the stuff I put out and enjoy to hear my commentary and watch me play. So I really should. I just need to, like, get into the habit of, like, a set regular pattern and try to work it into just, like, my daily schedule. But I know a lot of people would enjoy it. You miss me doing it? Yeah, I know. It's been, like, well over a month, too, if I remember right. Now, to be fair, I was actually streaming on Twitch. So, this isn't my oh, no. Oh, God damn it. Okay, this isn't my first time streaming the OH-6. I actually streamed it on Twitch. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at another, because we already did a low detail area, we're going to look at another one, which is this, this area here. And let's see just how much different it is compared to what we've seen already. Wonder if there is northern lights. So that is actually one thing people have brought up, and as far as I know, northern lights is a thing that is currently not possible in DCS, but I believe there's talks about trying to make it happen. It'll just be like a weather phenomena, like rainbows or that ice crystal effect. So you would see something similar for northern lights. I think my house just killed you. That's funny. It's all your fault. Okay, so just right off the bat, I just want to say, this asphalt texture is actually kind of nice. I mean, if you zoom in like way into it, it looks very pixelated, but like just at the default zoom level, it genuinely looks like it's textured. Well, not textured. You know what I mean? Like it looks bumpy. That is actually a really nice asphalt. You heard it here first, folks. That's a really nice asphalt. But let's go ahead and take off and see what the buildings are like. Just follow you on Twitch just in case. Yeah, nice. I'm still split on whether or not I should stream on Twitch, just because I'm like dividing my viewership between Twitch and YouTube. So on one hand, I could like live stream on Twitch and then take the VODs and create a YouTube video out of those VODs here. But at the same time, a lot of you people already know me through my YouTube channel. So if I don't stream here, then a lot of you are going to be missing out in the first place, unless I create a YouTube video based specifically on my live streams. I'm still debating on how I want to do that. Also, let's check out these hangars. Is this area, like, are colorful buildings just a thing in this part of the world? Like, look at this. We have ketchup and mustard right next to each other. And we have a mustard hangar. I imagine we have a ketchup hangar here on the right. Yeah, of course we do. Just a hint of ketchup. And then more ketchup over here at the tower. This is a very, very colorful country. Doing multi-stream, is simul-streaming an option? So I have thought about that, and I don't know how it would work, but I think what I would have to do is I would have to stream to a service, and then that service streams to multiple websites. So then that would like branch off into Twitch as well as YouTube at the same time, and Kick and whatever else. I imagine I would also have to pay for that service, so I don't know if it's I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. But yeah, that is an option. Look who is slumming it on YouTube. Hey, what's up, California? How's it going? You know, your comment the other day is what kind of pushed me to just simply stream on YouTube today. Because you're like, I forgot what you had said exactly, but it was something like it was something along the lines of me not streaming on YouTube like I normally would, and you being disappointed. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Just for California, I'll just stream on YouTube this time around. So. So Levi, if there's anyone to thank, it's California. So, and also make sure you follow him, because he also does DCS World content as well. Okay, I feel like we're spending too much time at this airfield and not enjoying other buildings. But I mean, all things considered, like even though this is like the low detail area, these assets look pretty good. Like they don't feel low quality, as far as I can tell. Now, where am I? Where do I need to go? Oh, civilization is just there to the... yeah, north, basically. So we'll just fly in this direction and see what kind of buildings we find. Oh wait, hold on. Before I do that, I know there were people that were complaining about runway alignment. And not entirely like their heading alignment, like relative to the world, but instead like different parts of the runway not aligning up with each other. So like, for example, you have this main part of the runway, which is just what people would normally land on. Then you also have this section here. Like, dude, I don't know the anatomy of runways, but you have like this here, in addition to the runway itself. So I don't know what constitutes a good-looking or a bad-looking runway. To me, this looks like it gets the job done, but for all I know, there's a lot of missing assets that should be here, like runway lights, or... because I know on some runways we have a set of like lights back here to indicate that you're approaching the landing side of the landing and takeoff side of the runway. But yeah, I just don't know enough about airfields and aviation around it to know what is or is not missing. I mean, I guess it looks a little misaligned. Like, it almost looks like there's stuff missing on the left and right of this, but I don't know if that's, like, just by design or not. Kind of looks like stuff is missing, I guess. I just don't know what it would be. Yeah, not sure. I think the airfields currently on the map are still relatively high detail, just that the areas outside of them and the high detail zone are low detail. Okay, gotcha. We can see what that's like then. When I stream to both YouTube and Twitch, I hosted my own service. If you want... yeah, sure, I'll see what that's all about. I imagine it's... you would have to... how would you do that? Because, as is, I'm like sending 20 kilobits... 20 oh god, is that the right word? 20,000. So my setting for my bitrate is 20,000 for YouTube right now, and I have a total of about 40 to 45 available to me. So in theory, I could upload at the same quality, if not worse. I mean, to be fair, it would be Twitch, so it'd be like 6,000. So I could probably do it with additional headroom to spare. So it's not impossible. I just have to look into it. Okay, so let's take a look at the city. Normandy had issues where... Oh, let's not crash and die while I'm raiding. Where runways could be at slightly different heights, causing a bump/drop. Oh, interesting. And it wouldn't even be like a smooth bump. It would be like a straight up drop or a straight up wall that you would run into. I mean, that's game breaking. That's definitely game breaking. Like if you're trying to use a runway and you take off and you just end up slamming into a wall because of a misshaped runway, yeah, I would say that's a pretty big issue that would have to get fixed. I imagine that's no longer a problem in Normandy. Well, to be fair, we now have Normandy 2, and hopefully that's something that would be addressed. Okay, let's stop getting distracted. Let's take a look and see what these buildings are all about. I don't know what that S stands for, but I saw an S on that building. Oh no. We're okay, we're good. Just testing the damage model of these buildings. See, look at that. Lights on fire, just like we would expect, at the lightest touch. All according to plan. Alright, let's see. Let's see what's around here. So once again, you can see a nice variety of buildings. I mean, you can obviously tell when things are just copy and paste, but there's enough of them that it doesn't feel out of place. Like you would almost believe that there's enough of a difference between even the houses that are obviously the same. You would believe that there's enough of a difference between them that they're just different houses. Like maybe they're oriented a different direction, they're not facing the same way, there's potentially slight differences, even though they probably isn't, in the textures. It's like, all I'm trying to say is this is very believable. This is very believable. So it makes me wonder, I mean, ignore the fireball over there, that's a DCS thing. It makes me wonder, like, what are the biggest grievances of this map? Like, why has it caused such a stir in the community? Like, what's wrong with this map? Like, if I go down to this road here, like, would people consider the combination of these two things being really bad? Like, obviously, this road goes into, this highway road goes into this residential road and then curves off. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a problem. I mean, I wouldn't consider that game breaking. Like, sure, it's an issue with, like, alignments and stuff, but like, I wouldn't care if I'm in the middle of a mission and a residential road intersects with a highway road. Like, I could not care less about that. It can't be those sorts of things. Because that seems so minimal that it would be dumb to complain about it. The map has flaws, but people calling it South Atlantic 2.0 are massively overreacting. Now, okay, so here. Let's see if we can address that concern. So I'm going to active pause. I'm active pausing. I'm going to go into F... wow. I'm going to go into F11. And we're going to look at this from a higher altitude. Because one of the issues that people had with especially the terrain in South Atlantic is a lot of it looked low resolution, especially from an altitude of like 10,000 to 20,000 feet. So kind of like that mid-level altitude as opposed to high altitude and low altitude. And that from this height, it didn't look great. So let's take a look at it from this height. We're going to look, in fact, let's look at the... So we are currently in one of the low detail areas. So from what I remember in the screenshots that were shared, everything in this area, like kind of like this circle I'm making here, is considered high detail, like this. But everything outside of that is expected to be low detail. So it would be literally this entire section here, these sections here on the bottom right, And yeah, I mean, that's basically everything else. So let's take a look at what it looks like along these mountains and see if we can spot any major issues with the resolution of the textures. I mean, that doesn't look bad. I mean, to be fair, we're like super high up. This is 80,000 feet. Jesus. This is super high altitude. Okay, so here's where it looks a little spotty. So that doesn't look great. So just right off the bat, this looks flat. Like this looks like it's just flat ground from my perspective. I don't know about you guys, but that straight up looks flat. So let's take a look. We'll zoom in. Get down to it. Okay, that, I don't know what to make of this. This feels like auto-generated textures that have not been touched up yet. They still have like the textures that are taken from satellite imagery to indicate that they are like bigger terrains than they would actually be. So like based on the image that we're seeing imprinted onto the ground, these look like they should be much bigger than they actually are. So if I zoom in, although this thing looks like a massive hill, it's like I could walk up this with my dog kind of hill. Like it's not big. So yeah, this area does look like early access South Atlantic. So this doesn't look great. I will give it that. However, if we go just a little bit further north, this is when it starts looking okay again. I mean, to be fair, the problem is I don't know how to put into words what I'm feeling like looks off. Like the combination of this bit of texture with the lake, it doesn't look like there's a good transition from mountain to lake. But maybe that is actually how it is in real life, but that doesn't look great. It's like there's too sharp of a line around this lake. That just looks kind of strange to me. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that doesn't look great. It's like they tried to make a little transition here with like a small beach, but it just goes like it's just a sharp decline, and then that's the transition. Like this should just be like if they just made it so that the slant into the water was not as sharp and then extended it out in both directions so that it was a bit wider, then it wouldn't look so bad. But again, I mean, I've never been to this lake in this part of the world, and for all I know, it could look just like this. Who knows? I really don't. And also keep in mind, this is still the low detail area that has not been touched up on, and that's known. It's a known thing. Now, what I am curious about is this. If we zoom out, oh gosh, I don't see any good examples, but the water looks kind of weird to me. And you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it in these two comparisons. So if you look at this lake, you can see this is clearly water, like DCS water. You can tell like this is water that you find in DCS. But this section here, that just looks like terrain. Like I know it's supposed to be water, but I wonder what happens if I go into it. Will it start to look like water when I get into it? No. No, it's not. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's supposed to be water. Like that's clearly supposed to be water. But that's just grass. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, this is just straight up dirt and grass. Okay. So, obviously unfinished. This is obviously unfinished. So that explains why that looks so funky. So we have actual water here, and then just area of the map that's supposed to be water, but it just hasn't been done yet. And same thing with this one over here. Like you can tell where there's just straight up satellite imagery. I wonder if this is like an actual like small little canyon thing. No, it's not. So these are the baked in shadows that people were talking about. Yeah, so these are baked in shadows. Like there's clearly no change in the terrain to cast these kinds of shadows, and yet there's shadows here. And I wonder, where's the sun right now? It's over there. I wonder, what if we were to keep that in our field of view, zoom out, and keep an eye on the sun position? What if we did this? What if we increased time to let the sun pass overhead. Oh god, this is going to take forever. What I want to know is if we were to time lapse this, would this change? Or would this always be like a dark smear that never changes? That's what I'm curious about. I imagine it's probably going to be the latter. It's just never going to change. Yeah, there's no way we're waiting for that. That's just going to take too long. Yeah, that's just going to take too long. All right, so that pretty much confirms that. So, understandably, this area is low detail, and it's expectedly so. Like, we should not expect these areas to be done yet. Shadows in the texture itself looks too blue, I think. Oh. So like if we look at this, it's just not dark enough. Like there's just too much color within it. Yeah, I could see that. What I'm mostly curious about is if they're going to be able to like touch this up. Like, do they have to go in manually and like just paint this out so that it matches the terrain as if there were no shadows? And then they would cast their own shadows using geometry after that? Because that's kind of a pain in the butt. And I could see why that's a lot of work. Because these shadows are done by the sun, I think. Yeah. So the sun is coming down from that direction, hitting parts of the hill, and then it's casting a shadow in like little bumps of this hill, which is why it's not all in shadow. Like there's some highlights, there's some dark spots. So that makes sense. Same thing with this. I mean, I don't know if that's baked in. I don't think that's baked in because it looks like it levels out slightly. So that looks like it makes sense. I don't know. That looks kind of funky. Does it look funky to you guys? It kind of looks funky to me. It's almost like the light is hitting this, so it's highlighting this area, and then the only reason why this is in shadow is if this area was taller than this area. But if we actually look at it, is that actually the case? Hard to tell. Like, what I'm doing right now sounds pretty nitpicky. Like, if we're trying to break it down to this point, we are poking at things that honestly probably don't need to be poked at, because from 13,000 feet, this looks great. 13,000 feet, this is a believable bit of shadow on a hill in terrain. It looks like a high resolution terrain. That looks like it's dark from the satellite image. Oh, I see. So you think, like, for example, it's this dark only because this is an image taken from a satellite? So if we were to let the sun pass overhead to, like, I don't know, like if the sun passed to this side of the hill, then this would probably remain dark still? Is that the theory? I mean, it's possible. It is possible. But just based on the sun's location right now, I would say that's pretty believable. I mean, it's a little high at the moment for it to not be casting light onto this area at all. Like, if we look at the sun from here, yeah, that's a little high. That is definitely a little high to not have, like, to cast this much of a shadow. Yeah, that's strange. I wonder if that's part of the issue that people are having, is that the sunlight direction doesn't necessarily match up with the shadows that we're seeing, so everyone's like, ah, it looks horrible. I mean, to be fair, it is pretty distracting, especially when you notice that kind of thing. Maybe a touch brighter, but it'd be the sun shining on a slightly darker patch. Yeah. Wonder how consistent that is. Let's go to a high detail area and see if that's any different. Why can't I? Oh, right. There we go. Let's go to a high detail area, which should be around here, and see if it's any different, like these guys here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is already looking better. This is already looking better. So this is, oh, I don't know, actually. I mean, clearly the sun is visible in the sky, and this is the dirt in plain view of the sun. Like, unless it's like just hitting the grass as a collective, and the grass is just as a collective casting a shadow onto the ground behind it or below it, then sure. But I mean, even the grass doesn't really have light on it. The plants do. Like, the plants look good for this position of the sun in the sky. I don't know. I don't know. But if we zoom way out, that doesn't look bad. Like at 10,000 feet, this doesn't look bad. Oh, that doesn't look great. I don't know. I mean, that looks like low resolution textures there. This section and kind of this area here, and maybe this area here, that kind of looks like low resolution textures. Okay, maybe like this is the middle altitude area that just doesn't look great. So if we just like go up to say 30,000 feet, because if it's the same texture size, it'll look better because it's been shrunk down. So the resolution of the texture just looks better because it's further away. So this looks, so we're at 30,000 feet now. This looks okay. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad, but it's when we get closer, because the resolution does not change. It's still the same size as we get closer. See how this is starting to look more blobby, more pixelated? Here. And then as you get super close, you would expect it to become sharper, but it doesn't. It just stays at the same resolution. But it could also just be the shadow effect. Like maybe what I'm actually complaining about aren't like the image textures, but the shadows cast by the sun and the interaction with the hill. Like all this stuff here that I was complaining about is actually literally just the shadows cast onto the hill. Maybe that's all I'm actually complaining about. And keep in mind, this part of the map is supposedly the high detail area. So we are currently in this part of the map, and supposedly this section here is all high detail. So even better, let me go here, because this is definitely a high detail area. So here's 30,000 feet. Unfortunately, there's just not much in the way of hills and mountains and terrain. It's very flat. So this actually isn't a great way to see that. But just immediately, it doesn't look bad. Could be better, but I think it's totally acceptable. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this isn't bad. So let's go to an area that is in high detail and also good amount of terrain, which is just over here. Let's also take a look at the area that I set up for target practice. So I put this like this huge smoke and fire here just so I know where to find it. I have a helicopter that spawns on this pad. So let's see what this looks like from a distance. That doesn't look bad. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. We're at 25,000 feet. This looks pretty decent. Let's see if this looks weird. Usually this kind of stuff looks weird. Yeah, this kind of does. So this is getting into that same issue where this looks like it has like multiple levels. Like this looks like it climbs up, and then you have like a plateau with water in it. But then when you actually go into it, it's just kind of it's kind of like a lazy hill. It's like you can just take your dog for a walk up this hill and just maybe be out of breath. Yeah, this is kind of a problem. And I imagine what this amounts to is this needs a lot of manual touch-up by an artist to create like each one of these steps and then make sure this actually rises up as a proper 3D model instead of being, you know, satellite image data where you only get so much data of how this is formed and then it just kind of blends those points together and you just get naturally a smooth surface. Kind of like anti-aliasing in a way. Where it takes the 2 pixels, merges them together, and gives you a smoother like set of pixels. That's kind of the way that I'm thinking of it. So an artist would really have to go in and just touch up all the fine details and make this actually look like steps. Oh, that is true. You could compare it with Google Earth. That is true. I mean, I don't know if they're taking the Google Earth data as well, but oh yeah. Yeah, look at that. Is this the same area? Wait, what time is it? 3:50? Yeah, you just sent it to me. That thing looks very realistic, actually. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I mean, there's a few missing details, like the really heavy dark spots around the edges. Oh man, is there a way I can show this without having to create a new... I don't think I can. Hold on. Let me... Let me just use Google Earth, like you were suggesting. are we? We are nearby some water. Ah, man. And then I have to set up an OBS. Okay, well, just imagine I'm looking at Google Earth right now. But yeah, so overall, this doesn't look too bad. Like, there's still some issues with the stepping, but yeah, overall not bad. Especially when you're high up and you're flying, you know, Mach whatever at 30,000 feet. You probably wouldn't care that much. Now, that is a DCS issue. That is a DCS problem right there. Being able to to clearly see the smoke and flame through the cloud, yeah, that's a DCS problem. Okay, well, that's enough lollygagging. Let's get actual flying done. There's a trade-off to increasing the terrain resolution too, of course, if they go too far with increasing the detail of the actual terrain, not textures. Performance and file size can have issues. Yeah, absolutely. And considering, like, I wonder just how much effort was put into this to make performance that much better than what it could have been. Because it's possible that a lot of this stuff was done as like a performance saving measure. Like right here, this looks fantastic. Like this looks great. Minus that like comically large fire and smokestack, like this actually looks excellent. But yeah, you're right. If they make everything too much hand created, it will start affecting performance. Like this right here, this feels like it should be a really like deep valley that you could fly through, like a really sharp, very steep valley that you would be able to see. But when you actually get into it, it's like, it feels like a bowl. Like it feels like a smooth bowl. And maybe that's like one of the trade-offs that you just can't get around unless you want to sacrifice performance heavily. Like I would have expected to feel more like this, but you know, on that scale of what we were seeing earlier. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, just the steps, you mean? Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. So even the steps look realistic. So this may not actually even be terribly steppy in real life. It just maybe has different colors of sand or something along it. Except it looks nothing like in real life. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and respawn in a new aircraft. And I kind of want to give the OH-6's weapons a go. So we're going to respawn. So choose slot. OH-6 armed. All right, cool. Nice. And it's a cold start. I get to practice that. So if you guys weren't aware already, for those of you who are just joining, or this is the OH-6A mod. This is made by 8-Ball and oh boy, I need to get their names right. I need to get the names right because that's just good practice as a content creator. Tobson and 8-Ball. I don't know if they have like a specific team name, like maybe their team name is just literally this, like DCS OH-6. But they created the OH-6A mod for DCS, and this is it here. It's basically the Little Bird helicopter. Even though I think this is well before it was even ever called the Little Bird. This would be the Loach, or Soyuz if you want the real name. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I really like it. So let's go ahead and start this guy up. It's not really complicated to start up. It's fairly easy, just like any other Vietnam/Cold War era aircraft. There's not a lot of steps involved. So let's go ahead and do it. First up, battery, set to battery, or battery switch set to battery. Fuel, and then we want to hit the starter, which I believe I set to this button. Yeah, we want to hit the starter. Wait for the RPM to settle, and then put the throttle to idle. Throttle's idle, and we'll continue to hold the starter until that RPM needle settles. I know, right? The bag of grenades just chilling there. Yeah, I was very surprised to see that, but it's like, this is literally what they did. They literally took a bag, filled them up with grenades, and then just tossed them as they needed to. It's pretty funny. Okay, release the starter now that our RPM is settled, and now we need to increase, oh sorry, we actually missed a step. We need to lower our governor. So we just lower the governor, and now we're going to increase our RPM. by increasing the throttle. It's that knob at the very bottom. In fact, you guys can't really see it. There you go. It's to the left of the controller. We're going to slowly increase that. And there it is. It is on full. And now we need to increase our governor so that this N2 is at 100. So both modifiers and right on the D-pad. You hit that a few times until the needle reaches 100. And a little more, a little more. There we go. And there's 100. And we're set. Well, actually, no, we're not set. We need to now turn on our inverter, generator, and magnetic direction gyro. And now we're started up. That should be working. Yes, it is. We got our bag of grenades. We have our minigun on the left. Wow, I didn't realize just how beat up that looks. You see all the grease stains and things like that. That's actually kind of cool. And then we have our rockets here on the right. And, of course, our door gunner with the M60, which should be pretty fun. All right. Oh, in fact, I don't think I bound that. Give me a second. Yeah, I didn't bind any of that. Let me do crew, I think. Toggle crew status, ROE maybe. Yeah, there we go. Door gunner ROE. Set that to that button. Okay, that'll do. And now we can see that he is set to fire. Alright, cool. Let's see what kind of damage we can do. Also, we need to set our weapons. We'll set our rocket pair to 1. And we'll start off using guns. Oh, and I just realized I don't have that bound either. Select? Yeah. So we'll set this guy to that. Why? Oh, right, keyboard. Select gun. Select rockets. And then I need to go back to door gunner, so ROE. And then we'll set this guy to this combination. Okay, we're good. All right, cool. That. 762. All right, let's have some fun. Yeah, I know, right? The dude just has muscles for days. This dude just like holds it himself. No mount, just manually throwing that thing around. A heavy machine gun at the side of his Soyuz and held by nothing but just like bungee cord. It's kind of crazy. But I believe in him. I believe in him. He's going to do a good job. Zoom out and take off. Please tell me he at least has a harness. You know, that's a good question. I don't actually know. But I'm willing to bet no. Nope. He's very much just free-floating back there. Yeah, I see nothing. Dude is just free-floating, just sitting. He's literally bracing himself against the rocket pods. And that is how he is holding himself in. He's just got his, what's called, his boots just locked into this notch here, and that's how he's holding himself in. He's got his lugs on. Alright, let's do it. We're taking off, I believe. Are we not taking off? Why are we not taking off? Am I still in active pause? Yes, I am. Okay, that makes sense. Alrighty, let's take off. We need quite a bit of left anti-pectoral. Oh my goodness. Let's do a lot more left cyclic. Okay, so when she's heavy, she is heavy. That is a lot of left cyclic. And not as much left pedal as I thought there would be. Also, I just realized this railway goes nowhere. I put this helipad here thinking this was a road, but this is actually a railroad, and it goes nowhere. Like, if we follow this, I'm pretty sure... I actually don't know where this would take us. Does it take us over there? It might. Let's follow it. Let's see where it takes us. Yeah, glued himself on. Yeah, just took nails, bolted them down. got the Gorilla Glue going on. Now there is one thing I do have something to complain about with this mod, is that it's, with small arms fire, it's a bit of a bullet sponge. It feels like it can take a lot more punishment than it should. But outside of that, it feels great. Like, if you get hit by a missile, you're going down. If you get shot in the engine, you'll take damage and the engine will stop working. You fly into power cables, you'll get knocked out the sky, just like what you saw. God damn it. Well, let's just commit. Let's do it even worse. Hey! Boop. Come on. Explode. There it is. Okay, let's respawn. You guys didn't see that? That didn't happen. Let's go over the startup procedure for the first time ever. We've never done this before. Hit that starter button like we've never hit it before. Did you guys know that you hit the starter button and you just wait for that needle to stop and then you go to engine idle? Yeah, then you hold the starter button until this needle settles. Did you know? Huh? Ah, God damn it. I would like to say that was my fault, not the mod's fault. Once that RPM needle settles, we'll release the starter. There we go, releasing the starter. Wait for the N2 to settle, and once it does, we'll slowly increase the throttle. And there it is. Slowly increase throttle. Oh, I should probably lower the governor as well. Lowering governor. And increase throttle to max. Alright, now we need to increase the governor so that it reaches 100. And a little more, and there's 100. A little more, just give it a little more. Okay. Now inverter, generator, magnetic direction gyro. Weapons, we'll set that to 762, we'll set the rocket pair to 1. Alright, we're good to go. Let's get out of here. A lot of left cyclic. A lot of left cyclic. There it is. Alright, let's get out of here. We'll not follow this railroad this time, we're just going to fly directly over there. And see what kind of damage we can do. Also, let's set our guy in the back. Free fire. And get on with it. So how y'all doing on this fine Sunday? It is currently 4 o'clock in the afternoon for me. I've got probably another 50 minutes in me before I sign off for the day. Has anyone been interested in picking up the Kola map? Or are you still reserving your opinion on it for reviews and whatnot to come out? By the way, none of these targets should shoot at me. I'm pretty sure they're... Oh! Jesus. He just lets loose. His range of fire is actually pretty wide. Go get him! Damn! I don't think you're hitting him. Damn, he's accurate! Holy crap, dude! Look at that! Okay, stop it. Stop it. You're not hitting him. Let me take care of it. I'm gonna go in. Going in with a minigun. I can't remember which one it was because now I'm flipping out. I think it was this guy. Oh, I am not firing. Right, because there's a master arm switch. We need this guy. Okay, we're good. Stabilize. I said stabilize. There we go. Alright, let's try that again. And let it loose. Hell yeah. Look at that minigun go. That is a hell of a truck. Oh. come on. Rotors, spin back up, spin back up. There we go. So that right there is a sign of a really nice flight model. So what I did is I over-pitched my aircraft, so I pulled up a bit too hard, which caused the rotors to, I don't know if they slowed down or speed up. Either way, they were uncontrollable. And it took a minute or a second for the rotor to catch back up to what I wanted it to do. And then once it did, I was back in control again. So that's a really good sign of a good flight model. Ooh. So let's actually go in for a proper run this time instead of just kind of trying to drift our aim over to it. The bullet ricochets in the distance. Oh wait, what the hell? I could just click it? I don't have to bind that? Oh, okay, I might just do that and save a bind. Whoa, I am out of control. Okay, why am I out of control? Come on, stabilize. Stabilize. Okay, we're good. We're good, we're good, we're good. So the trick with this module is set the collective and then never touch it again, because changes in collective will absolutely throw your aim off. Oh, God, just to the left of it. Okay, hold on. We're not doing this the right way. So we'll do our attack run again, but we need to do this properly. Because they tell you, if you ever go in for an attack run, do not overfly the target. So we're going to go in for a long distance shot and then pull away and then repeat that. Let's see if we can do this properly. Never, ever want to overfly the target. Of course, that means I have to go for this guy, but yeah, whatever. Then turn off. Nope, that was basically overflying. Oh, no! Oh, please, 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 please. We are super heavy. We are incredibly heavy. Okay. I need to work on my maneuvers. So we overtorqued the engine, and we heard the engine out warning, and if we were in that state for too long, we will kill the engine. And that is yet another sign of good flight model and damage model. They took a lot of things into account with this thing, which is really nice. Try it again. Running in. Get the pipper on target. And this pipper is actually surprisingly accurate. And then turn off. Not too much rudder. Too much rudder, you're going to cause the rotor to droop. Or whatever the word is. Lose power. Then turn back off, extend back out, and try again. This time let's switch over to rockets. We'll just switch over to rockets with that switch there. And let's see what kind of damage we can do with these. Once again, aim for this first guy. Pipper on target, and release. Nope, went a little high. Oh, too much rudder, too much pedal, too much pedal. Oh, we're good, we're good. Wow, this thing is very, very unforgiving. I wonder if I should just avoid using pedal entirely during a turn. It's probably what I should be doing. Try it again. Turn again, no pedal this time. Just let it turn on its own. Increasing altitude into the turn, which means we're slowing down, but that's okay. Leveling out. And let's see what we can do. So it looked like it went a little ahead of the target, so let's aim down and fire. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that looked like it was spot on with the crosshair, so there must be a sweet spot. It's gonna take practice. Dogs. My fiance is having fun with our dogs at the moment. I have not been touching the pedals at all this whole time now, since I said I wouldn't. And rolling in. Let's try this again. That was above the target. Let's try it again. We're just going to go for it. There we go. That was a direct hit. Nose forward, nose forward, nose forward. Okay, we're good. We're good. Now, unfortunately, we overflew every single target. But what you guys don't realize is, while it is not good to overfly the target, sometimes it is necessary because we have hand grenades. Let's do it. Let's see if we can hit it. I'll be right around here.
High explosive.
Wow. Oh, God. Oh, no. That's what I get for going to F6 view. God damn it. So, this aircraft is very, very manual. But it's a whole lot of fun. Like, you're fighting the aircraft more than you're fighting your enemies, and that's kind of the joy of it. I really do recommend it. Despite, you know, being on your side and face planted into the ground. It is actually a joy to fly. Alright, let's go ahead and go back to checking out the map. So there's another area of the map that I do want to check out, and that's the southern area. Because that is another portion of the high detail area that I just really want to see what it's like. And let's see if we can spot any major issues with this. Alrighty, looks like we're at a port in the southernmost city of the map. Just so you guys are aware, we are currently in Torino on the southernmost section of it, and then we're going to fly to the north and just check out what the city is like. Again, nice combination of different colors. Here's that, here's that like cheeseburger place again. I really don't know what that's supposed to represent, but I've seen that many times now. I guess that's one of the issues with using places that have like logos and stuff. Because there's a logo, you tend to recognize it a lot more easily than you would like just a generic building with no logo on it. Like there's another one right there. It's very easy to spot out. And there's another one. It's like a friggin' Starbucks, man. Pleasure chatting to Voss. Awesome seeing my home place as well. Thanks for showing me. Going to get some sleep now. Yep, no worries, Space Monkey. Have a good one. Thank you for joining. I will catch you later. Oh, by the way, guys, if you guys didn't notice, we are in the Jurassic Park skin of the OH-6. This thing is pretty cool. It has a bunch of cool little skins from a police helicopter for Vegas to this Jurassic Park one to Hawaii 5-0 or something like that. I don't know, it's some movie. Or not movie, TV show. But it has a cool little set of skins. I really like it. Alright, so as far as terrain details, like once again we're seeing this issue with where the water meets the land. It looks very like harsh. It looks short to the point, like there's no beach. I feel like that's a problem, but I also don't know what the area looks like in this part of the world, so maybe this is accurate to the real thing. This just doesn't feel right to me, that there's like zero beach meeting the water. But one thing I am noticing, just like I noticed before, there's still a pretty clear distinction between different, like, sectors of the city. Like, you have an industrial area, you have a residential area, you have a business area. Like, it's very clear to see different parts of, like, different operations of a city happening. Ooh, and look at that. There's actual, like, apartment buildings over there. That'll be fun. Finally, we're seeing buildings that are a bit taller that we could fly through. Alright, let's check this out. Got a 4-lane highway here. 2 in each direction. Alright, let's check this out. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of different apartment buildings. This is definitely where it could start getting very cookie-cuttery, especially with apartment buildings. Based on what I'm seeing here, there's 1, 2, and 3, at least 3 different types of apartment buildings, but I don't think there's much more than that. Oh no, there's more. There's these guys here as well, these dark gray ones. This other gray one, that's more square than anything. Okay, yeah, there's good variety. Like, there's enough variety to make it believable. And that's kind of like the key thing there. Even if there's a bit of copy and pasting, at least there's good variety among them that it's believable. And that's all that matters. It isn't bad. So buildings-wise, cities-wise, this looks great. Oh, okay, good. Did they add my increased collective button keybinds? Yes, they did. They actually did add it. That's what I'm using right now. It's a little sensitive, so I'm having to limit my frames per second to 60 FPS. Because if you didn't know, button presses that manipulate an axis, so like throttle, for example, or collective, it will be more or less sensitive depending on how much frames per second you're getting. So if you're getting 120 frames per second, it takes as little as 25 presses to go from full collective down to full collective up. But at 60 FPS, as opposed to 120, it takes 45 presses. And then at 30 FPS, it takes 80 presses. It's pretty significant. So just keep that in mind. If you find that the collective is too sensitive, try limiting your FPS to like 60. And if it's still too sensitive, then, I mean, you could you could limit to 30, but I mean, my minimum requirement for FPS is 60. So, I mean, you can, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, check it out. They included a bunch of other keybinds as well, so there was a bunch of missing stuff, especially for startup, that were missing, and they're now there, so there's a lot more now. It's actually really nice. Man. Like, I don't know, man. I'm actually enjoying the cities and how they've been put together. This is really, really nice to see. I really like the variety of colors, all the different colors of the roofs and stuff. That LOD there, you can spot, is pretty low resolution. What am I clicking on? What is that? What did I just click on? Like, what? Why did that change? What am I clicking on here? I don't know why there's an interactable element right here. Well, anyways. There is some issues with LODs here and there, but it's not the end of the world. Like, there's a specific building in particular, especially, I think it's in the industrial area, that has a bit of an LOD issue with the garage door. But it's not like terrain breaking. It's not a big issue. It's just a little smear, a little stain in the execution of the map. Like that. Like this little building here. This thing actually looks really nice with the weathering effects that they put on it. This actually looks really nice. All the, like, even though like these are literally all the same car, but the varying colors that they have really makes it feel like they're not the same car. Granted, there's only like 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors. No, 5 different colors. But that level of variability in the colors is what convinces me that these are all different cars and not just copy and pasted vehicles. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a pretty solid looking map. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where the problems really are. Like, I know what some people have complained about. I just don't know if they're severe enough to really be a breaking issue. Like something that would make people never want to touch this map again, you know? I mean, of course, outside of the known things, like the low detail areas, understandably, are low detail, unfinished. They are an unfinished product. And there's a whole topic that goes down that road that is completely separate from what I'm trying to cover here. But with the areas that I'm looking at, they look great. They really do. Like this right here, this looks fantastic. Like everything that's in screen right now looks great. In the OH-6A, do you have to constantly change the collective and throttle, or just the collective? Just the collective. So there's no need to touch the throttle after you've already turned it up all the way and set the governor properly. Everything after that is collective only. And yeah, that's probably what that is. That probably is the gun sight. Like, if there was a gun sight, this is where it would be for me to click it. But since it doesn't exist, it doesn't move out of the way. It's invisible, like it's invisible nature. And so it just doesn't move. So yeah, that's possible. Thought I saw one right in front of me as well, but it's not highlighting anymore. Looks pretty nice though. I'm enjoying it. I don't know what people are talking about. Oh, there's a van down there, so that's a little bit of a different vehicle. Alright, let's see if we can fly among these buildings over here. That's always fun. For me, the problem with Kola is that... Oh, yeah. Okay, so I will say the 145 gigabyte download, yeah, that's a problem. That is absolutely a problem. I mean, like, it's a gigantic map. It is a deceptively large map. And it is understandable based on how big it is that it is 145 gigabytes, but at the same time, god damn, it's 145 gigabytes. Because you get all these varying sets of textures that change depending on the region you're in. So, of course, it's going to take up more file size because there's just so many different areas that it has to have unique textures for. You can't just reuse a bunch of stuff, like, and add to that just the sheer size of this map. I guess all that combined, it can really, like, just explain the overall size of the terrain, but my god, 145. The terrain alone is bigger than Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Modern Warfare 3 is smaller than that. And that's saying something. It's actually a really nice area to just kind of fly through. It's relatively peaceful feeling compared to like the sands and deserts of Syria. It just feels like you're taking a nice relaxing flight instead of trying to do a mission. God. Please. Okay, we're good. We're good. Minus that part. Alright, let's see if we can come to a hover. And we're good. And there's our hover. Alright. There's also a couple of runways that aren't straight, and some hangar spawns put you on top of the roof. Oh, they put you on top of the roof? Okay, that can be an issue, especially if it's in the high detail area. Those I'm curious about. I wonder how much more gigs the map will be once the textures are improved. Yeah, that's also going to be an issue, and with every update that brings changes to the Kola map, guess what you're going to have to download every time that happens? You're going to have to download 145 gigs of data every single time there's an update to this map. And it's present in the next patch. So for that reason, I mean, honestly, that's a pretty big reason for me to uninstall it until I see a massive, massive change to what's being offered. Because I want to avoid having to download 145 gigabytes as much as possible. So unless things have changed significantly, I am probably going to uninstall this until that change is significant enough. Because there's no way I'm going to sit down and wait for 145 gigabytes to download just because of a new update. Some of the hangars are also floating above the ground. Yeah, so I was complaining about that earlier. There's a lot of hangars, a lot of houses, a lot of whatevers because of where they're placed, right? So if they're placed on a hill, of course they're going to be hanging off the side, especially if like the base of them don't extend far enough into the ground to make up for that amount of elevation. And that is one of my pet peeves when it comes to maps, is seeing floating buildings. I really dislike that. I wouldn't say it's game breaking, but that just hits me the wrong way whenever I see that. Now, the issue with the hangars will depend on if they are part of the high detail or low detail areas of the map. Because I know there are airfields that are in the low detail areas of the map, so if there are issues with those airfields, and I imagine those are expected. Like, if they say that that part of the area is unfinished, then you would expect to find issues there. So that's not that big of a deal to me. But if they're saying that, like, this area in particular, like, for example, where I'm at now is a high detail part of the map, and that would imply that it is mostly done, save for a potential bug here and there. It's not like we have, you know, a 10-story building floating up in the sky, you know? There's no major issues like that. We have the occasional slightly floating building, one that's like placed on a hill where half of it is hanging off like a ledge, the other one's dug into the ground. That's okay. Again, one of my pet peeves, but it's okay, it's not game breaking. However, if you are in a situation where you can spawn at an airfield and be stuck in the ground because your hangar is actually in grass, that's a problem, as long as it's one of the high detail finished areas, like quote unquote finished. Like, I know it's not finished, but it's implied that it's been touched up on. So if it's one of those areas, then yeah, I would have a problem with it. Someone also found out the guy who made South Atlantic. Yeah, I heard about that as well. So that bit is kind of touching on part of this whole drama situation that I don't really care for. Because while you can have, let's talk about software development. While you can have multiple teams taking on different projects, you can still share the same PMs with those teams. Like, you can still have the same project managers with different sets of developers. And yeah, sure, it could say something about the state of the Kola map and the South Atlantic map and saying like, well, SA hasn't been worked on, hasn't been completed in like, what, over a year now? And the same thing could very well happen to the Kola map. All because it's the same project manager or whatever they're considered. It is possible, but that is not something I really care about, because I haven't seen it happen for this map. Because I don't want to like talk crap about the developer's work, because I mean, clearly a lot of hard work has gone into this. Like, the areas that are high detail, even the areas that are low detail, they actually look really nice. There are some areas that definitely need to work, especially as seen from a high altitude. Like, there are very much like South Atlantic-esque terrain that looks like it should be like a large mountain, but it's actually just flat because it's just satellite imagery and not the actual geometry itself. So those areas need to be touched up for sure. But the areas that look nice look really nice. Like what I'm looking at right now, this is a really nice part of the map. I would really enjoy flying through this part of the map. So yes, I can understand the frustration of having learned that a less than stellar project manager was the one leading this project as well. But it doesn't necessarily reflect what has nor will happen to this particular project. Do we have a date on full release? No idea. I have no idea. When it comes to dates and DCS, it's best to ignore them. because you will be disappointed if you think a date is going to be held onto. As we already know with many releases in the past, the F-14, the F-4 now, the OH-60 or OH-58 Kiowa. It doesn't matter which aircraft it is, it's going to be delayed. It doesn't matter which terrain it is, it's going to be delayed. Now that said, the Kiowa I'm really looking forward to just because it's not going to be early access. It's releasing fully done. It is going to be fully featured. There is nothing that it is supposed to have that it won't have. It's going to have its full feature set on release. It's probably going to be buggy as hell, but that's okay. Because they don't have to worry about feature creep. It's already done. They just need to worry about bug fixing. And remember, features are not the same things, or rather, early access and lack of features are not the same thing as full access and bugs. So just because you find a bug doesn't mean it's incomplete. It's just buggy. Is the F4E going to be 99% complete? I actually don't know. I don't know what kind of state they expect the F4E to be in when it's released in early access. I know it's still going to be early access, I just don't know what kind of state it's expected to be in on early access. But I imagine a lot of the missing things are missing just because it's Heapler trying to work with ED on implementing stuff, right? Like, I know there's been talk about, oh god, like different types of bombs that don't exist yet or something in DCS, and they want to make it work, I think? I don't know. Because it's what, a Vietnam era aircraft? So, like, the most obvious things like napalm, but as far as I know, DCS just does not support that level of, like, effects and destruction. Because napalm is effectively a firebomb, right? Like, it's not meant to, like, destroy buildings. It's meant to set them on fire and then destroy them later. So I don't know how DCS is going to interpret that kind of weapon as it currently stands in its current design. I think everything is going to be on release apart from Jester Fuel. Oh my god! Oh, we're good! We're good! We're good! We survived! Hey, look at that! We survived! We just don't have landing skids anymore. That's what I get for reading chat. Don't text and drive, kids! Don't text and drive. Oh god, please. Ugh, we're good. Okay, I need to chill. I need to chill. Just gonna get into a hover. Get into a hover. Okay, we are good. We're good. We're good. All right. Weight savings. Now I could go faster. Yeah. Always look on the bright side of life. Look on the bright side. You could be dead. Oh. Look at the fire over there. Both landing skids caused both those fires. Oh, that's funny. If you could only play on one DCS map forever, which would it be? It would be Caucasus. And it's not because of its level of fidelity, because it's clearly not that great of a map, but it's because everyone has it. And there's plenty of stuff on it to do stuff with. One, it doesn't like affect the player base, like people are not forced to purchase it. And it's also not so tiny like Mariana's that you basically can only do naval ops. It's, to me, the map, if I only had to choose one, that would be the map, that would be it. Now, if cost wasn't a factor, if every map was free and then I could choose one map. Now, if that's the question, So, I've recently had the pleasure of flying in Syria and Normandy 2, and I'm thoroughly impressed with those. God, I can't talk right now. Both of those maps. But I know Normandy 2 is, 1945, Paris and London, and everything in between. So it's not the most ideal map, especially for the majority of the player base who does not fly World War II. So based on that, I would say Syria. But if we could get like a modernized, not Normandy 2, because obviously it wouldn't be called Normandy. That implies World War II. But if we could get that same area but modernized, then I would say whatever that would be. But we don't have that today. So I guess my answer is, ignoring cost of map and cost of terrain, probably Syria. Ooh, I wonder if I could fly through that, huh? Oh god, please. Please stabilize, 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 stabilize. Oh my gosh. Why is this so unstable? Come on, control yourself. Control yourself. What is going on? Okay, we're stable? Kind of stable? Not really? Okay, we're good. Wow. I must have taken way more damage than I thought because this thing is just moving all over the place. What do you think about the Germany map? Oh, the potential, like the T's that we saw? So I've said this before. I am not a great person for getting takes on maps. Because, again, I'm not really much of a history buff, and knowing, like, where conflicts have been... I mean, I know that this is, like, East and West Germany, right? So it's the whole idea of the separation of Germany, and showing that off really implies a key, like, area of the world. But I don't know what kind of world events have happened. I mean, except for, obviously, the big ones. But I don't know... I can't appreciate the... My god, this thing is so wobbly right now because of that impact. I can't really appreciate what all these maps mean. Like, even the one we're in right now, Kola map, like, I know where we're at. I know this part of the world. I don't know what's so significant about it. Like, I don't know what kind of battles, what kind of training, what kind of historical significance this area has. Outside of, like, oh yeah, this is where the Vigan was born. Or, you know, something like that. That's about it. So in that respect, I'm not a great source of whether a map is to be good or to be bad. Like, you could give me a map of San Francisco, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's awesome, because I know San Francisco like the back of my hand. Like, if you did a map of the Bay Area, dude, I would love that, just because I know SF. I know the SF Bay Area. But that'd be the only reason why. And honestly, I don't believe there's any legitimate historical significance of the Bay Area, other than the fact that it was used in so many movies. Barrel roll? Yeah, I can do a barrel roll. Let's do it. Also, welcome, Froggy. How's it going? Barrel... Oh no. We're good. Barrel roll. I think I might have needed a little more speed. Oh no. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. I think we may have taken... Oh yeah, we took damage. Wow. Alright, let's choose a different area that we haven't been in yet. So we've been to center, we've been to east. No, we haven't been to east. So let's check out east. This is a new one. We'll zoom out and take off. But yeah, so like I was saying, I know that the Germany map tease is very significant for a lot of people. I'm just, I just can't appreciate why. Because I just don't know. I don't know why it would be so significant outside of the obvious stuff. The last second beeping, I know, right? Warning, warning, altitude. No shit. I mean, no poop. God, I'm on YouTube, I can't say that. Oh, I see a gap. I see a gap between these. I'm pretty sure that's too small, though. Oh, that is way too small. Ah, damn. Oh, well. Although I will say, that set of, like, this area looks pretty cool. Like, these tanks look pretty nifty. It's like a little industrial area out here. Like I said before, it's very easy to tell that there are different parts of a city. There's an industrial area, there's a residential area, there's the gaps in between to get to each one, there's a port, there's an airfield. It's a nice variety of sections of a city. They did a really good job on defining those. Did you fly around the coast yet? No, not yet. And when you say coast, just to make sure I know what you're talking about, so I'm going to active pause. So when you say coast, do you mean like just any coastline, or do you mean like literally like edge of the map down here, like along this coastline? Or maybe up here? There's a lot of coastlines. I don't know which one. But we definitely can. Like I have a southernmost one where I spawn here, and then I could just fly along the coast this way, if that's what you're looking for. Also, wow, you can tell where the map just ends. Look at that. Yeah, it just goes, whoop, gone, nothing beyond this point. In fact, I could just do this. Yeah, it's all just grass. That's pretty funny. Then as you travel along, you see a random lake, and then bam, map. That's funny. Yeah, it's a very distinct border of stuff. Okay, so go here. So are we talking about like this area, like for example, like with this whole issue with like how the land meets the water and how like defined that is? Because I brought that up earlier and I just did not like the way that looked. For all I know, this is actually how it looks, and for whatever reason, every bit of landmass connecting with water always has this steep drop off into sand, but I feel like that's not really the case. Oh dude, tell me about it. Like, a lot of people say they want a forest map, but they don't realize just how useless you're going to be if units are among a forest. Because one, it's hard enough finding a single unit, even from this perspective. Like, this is the most ideal perspective. You're looking down into the trees, and then you can see the gaps between the trees. But imagine if you're looking at trees from this angle, like that. You are never going to see a unit that's behind like this set of trees. You would have to fly like at just the right angle to see just the right opening with a FLIR targeting pod, and then maybe you'll see a hotspot. But outside of that, you're going to see nothing. And yeah, definitely. That's when the area of effect weapons really come into play. It's like, you get told, hey, by the way, there's some units in this general area. Carpet bomb it. And that's it. That's the mission. You never see the enemy. You're just told the enemy is here, and you have to just nuke, well, not nuke, napalm this whole place, and then mission gone. You just fly off and buzz off. So, I don't know how riveting of gameplay that is, really. That doesn't feel like it's very riveting, but to each their own. To each their own. Never seeing the enemy that you're hitting and not knowing if you did a good job until the very end? I can see the appeal. It's not for me. What I do enjoy, though, is flying low and slow among buildings. And really appreciate the amount of work. So, okay, hold on. So, sorry. That definitely looks low quality to me. We were talking about this earlier, and how hangars are like floating or whatever. So this is an example of stuff that is floating because they were placed on like a hill or some kind of incline, right? And this is very strange to me because these look like individual assets, like they don't belong being attached to each other. Yeah, they do. Okay, yeah, they're individual assets, and it just so happens one set of logs were placed on the edge of a hill, and now you end up with this. So that is very distracting to me, especially if you're in a helo flying low. That's very distracting. Oh, even the one above it, that's not even on a hill. Oh, it is kind of on a hill. That's why it's kind of floating. Okay, yeah. So that is mildly distracting. Again, not game breaking. It is one of my pet peeves, but this isn't like, no, you got to refund your entire order after seeing this. It's nothing like that. It's just a stain on otherwise high quality work. And we already know why this happens. We already know why this is. It's because this asset doesn't go any deeper than the bottommost logs. And because they placed it on a hill, it's just going straight across because it's just level with gravity, right? Like, you could probably make it so that it angles when you place it down so that it's always like somehow flush with this side of the hill. But like, what's going to determine which one it needs to be flush with? So if it's not flush with gravity, then it's going to have to be flush with like a side of the hill Well, what if it's occupying two different slants? Which one does it choose? Typically, it's the one that's in the direct center of it, but then even if it does that, it'll look like it's being consumed by the hill. So what that comes down to is simply not putting these here in the first place, and then you won't have a problem. But then you also then end up with less stuff in your world. So if you're dealing with, like, let's say an auto generation script that's placing this stuff for you, then I can see why you would want to go back and clean it up, but the trade-off is it's less life in the area you're flying through. And honestly, like, high up you would never see this. The only reason why we're seeing this is because we're down low. So while it is an eyesore for me, I can understand why it's not that big of a deal. Like this down here, oh god, this annoys the hell out of me. This building here, the fact that this is floating like this, that annoys the hell out of me. But I would never see this at 10,000 feet, 20,000 feet, 30,000 feet. This is a non-issue. This really is a non-issue. The only time it would become an issue is if a vehicle can drive under that and then hide inside this building. That's when it would become an issue. But other than that, also, I'm looking at you, Gray Flag, for allowing units to go inside buildings. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say they allow units to go inside buildings, but the possibility of units being inside buildings is definitely prevalent in Syria, Gray Flag Syria. Probably, maybe. So Froggy's asking a silly question, but can AI get under it? If it was high enough, I mean, it's possible. I can't remember how it determines whether or not it should, like, stop where it's at or end up on the roof. But I know there's some logic where if a unit collides with a structure, yeah, I think it's either going to stop or it's going to hop up onto the roof. But I don't know what would happen if it was clearly able to fit underneath the building. I don't know if it would detect that there is a building there and then just pop up onto the roof, or just stop where it's at. Like, I don't know if it's like a vertical detection thing, or if it's just physical space detection where if there was enough of a gap, then it would just hide inside the building. I don't know. Must not be very fun for combined arms. I mean, to be fair, what is what is very fun for combined arms? Now, I will say, combined arms, when you play against other players, is actually surprisingly fun. When you're, like, on both ends. Like, if you're a helicopter going up against a combined arms vehicle, it's actually a lot of fun because they're not behaving like AI anymore. They're behaving like humans, obviously. So that is a lot of fun. But in servers that implement it, they tend to have rules like no hiding amongst buildings and trees, no putting troops in the middle of the forest so that the mission can continue. So there's things that people do already to prevent things like hiding in buildings, because it's just against the server rules. But AI, that could be a problem. Like Gray Flag, that would be a problem. I see a lot of CA on Contention. Yes. Contention is one of those servers that have really embraced combined arms. And that's good. I really like that combined arms, despite its lack of features. I guess, is that one way to put it? I don't know. Despite its low fidelity of combined arms assets, because you're not going to get, you know, module, like aircraft module level quality out of an M1 Abrams tank in DCS. But despite that low quality of that particular module, a lot of people enjoy using it. Because in the end, a lot of people just like the idea that you can make a plane go boom with a thing on the ground, you know? And that's sometimes, a lot of the times, just good enough. And people enjoy it, especially if they bought it on discount or whatever. I wish all the CA models would get replaced by current models? Current models? Like full fidelity models? Is that basically what you're trying to say? See, this looks nice. I like this area. Nice little patch of buildings and logs and stuff and containers. Like, it looks like that area is used for something. Like, it has an objective for that area. Like, they have a job to do. Then we have office buildings that support it, and then we have residential buildings off in the distance that they have to travel from. Like, this looks like it could be a lively environment. It makes the extreme high fidelity... Oh, really? Interesting. I have not heard of that before, so I'm gonna have to look that up. So Current Hill is a modder. Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up. That is my first time hearing of it. Whew. Man, this feels nice. Like, between this mod and flying around Kola, this is actually a really fun experience. Let's see how fast we can stop. Wow. Stopped on a dime. Jesus. Is that realistic? Probably not. I feel like we should have snapped our rotors or something, but goddamn. Well, let's try that again. Hold on. Let's do that again. We're gonna fly at max speed and see just how fast we could stop. Pretty sure max speed is about 130 knots. You do a lot of flying around maps at low level. I mean, I do fly helicopters quite a lot, and when I'm just flying around just to have fun like this, yeah, this is basically all I do. If all I'm doing is just trying to enjoy DCS for what it is, and it doesn't involve blowing stuff up, this is what I choose to do. So I'll put on some tunes, put on some like lo-fi jazz, hop into a helicopter in VR with my full setup, and then just fly around. It's just a fantastic experience. Just a zen out, just a chill. It's very, very relaxing. Surprisingly relaxing. Okay, here we go. We're at 120 knots. Probably step it up a little more. Let's see if we can stop on a dime again. A little more. There we go, 130 knots. There's 130. Alright, let's see if we can stop. Oh, God. Ugh. Wow. That feels like it shouldn't be possible, but we just did it. Oh my God. Sounds like a good time even with the controller. Just, yeah, absolutely. Like, you guys can't see it, but I'm like reclined back in my chair with my left leg over my right knee, just chilling back. Literally controller like just sitting in my lap, relaxed arms, just vibing. Love your controller guides. Do you think you'll do it? Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be doing one for this OH-6 Loach. I have one in the works for the UH-60L, the Hercules mod. All of the Hercules mod I'm debating on whether or not to follow through with that, just because, I mean, I don't know when it's going to come out, but I know there's a legitimate like full fidelity module coming out for the Herc, and I don't know if I should just wait for that to come out. But yeah, I have a bunch of stuff in the works. So I'm going to have one for the CH-47 whenever that's available, the OH-58 whenever that's available, the F4E of course as well, all the popular stuff. The only time I don't have a controller layout for a given module is because I just haven't bothered flying it, or I just don't own it. So for instance, I don't have one for the Mi-8 because I just don't own the Mi-8. I don't know what it's like to fly it. I could throw one together just based on what other people tell me on how it's used, but I would much prefer to use the module first so I can optimize the layout as best I can before making it available for other people to use. Because I can't get without owning and testing it myself, I can't guarantee the ergonomics of the controls. And to me, a lot of the challenge with these layouts is putting together something that is easy to use and accessible. Because after all, you only have two thumbs to work with. If I don't plan around that fact, it's going to be a not so great experience. Yeah, that's true. I could just follow through with the Hercules one just because it's not going to be here for a very, very long time. So that is a fair point. Found your controller guides whilst I'm away out from my PC for 3 months. Excited to get back and just try flying with Xbox controller. Just seems, yeah, absolutely. It is probably the most. Now it's going to take a lot of practice, but once you like fly in DCS for a solid week, I feel like you'll get to the point where it feels fun again. Because especially if you're coming from a HOTAS, there's going to be like a week of just pure torture. You're going to need about a week of sheer dedication to, like, anytime you play DCS, choose to play with a gamepad for a week. And in about a week of that game time, you should be at a point where you start having fun again. And that's when you're really going to appreciate just the relaxed nature of DCS on a gamepad. Would love the Hercules. All right. I will see if I can move that up the priority queue. Right now is UH-60. I'm getting prepared. Like, I have my template set up for the F4E whenever that releases, so that's instantly going to be my next project, or the OH-58D, because it sounds like both of those are like on the verge of coming out. Like, I don't know how soon it is, because I know there was a date that was hinted at by Heapler for the F4E. I don't believe there was a date for the OH-58D, but they both feel like they're in the same state. Yeah, I think I'll start with the FC3. Just, yeah, of course. Wait, you had access? No. What I'm saying is, once it's released, I'll have a template already pre-created. So, like, it'll have pitch, it'll have roll, it'll have rudder inputs, it'll have throttle control. So all the basic stuff that I don't expect to be different between modules, it'll be there. And then, of course, like the F4E Phantom name in the layout. But when it comes to, like, actually using it, I don't know what the other binds are going to be. Like, I don't know if I'm going to need radar elevation. I don't know if I'm going to need like a, I don't know, like a TGP controller or something in the front seat versus back seat. And oh my god, and speaking of back seat, that's going to be a whole other module in itself for me. And I honestly don't know if I'm ever going to get around to the WZZZ seat, because that's going to be a lot of work. I know people do it, but oh god. That one I'm not looking forward to. So yeah, whenever that comes out, hopefully I'll have something good to go within probably a week. Because I need time to get my hands on it, really dedicate a lot of my time and energy to learning it, optimizing the controls for it, and then I can release something for it. Could you theoretically just look at the HOTAS buttons? I mean, I kind of did that already for the OH-58D. Like, I've broken down what every single cyclic and collective button and switch does. And I've made my best guess on what the layout could look like, but there's a couple issues with that. So one, it's possible that the names of the buttons are not going to be the same. So whatever names I assign for the template I have right now for the Kiowa, it's possible that when it releases, they're going to be completely wrong names. So I'm going to have to change a bunch of labels. Not to mention, I don't have practice in using those buttons. So, like, let's say, for example, I did the OH-64D, right? I saw that there was a chop button. Well, turns out, no one should ever press the chop button. Sure, it's there, but you should never, ever press it. So that would be an example of, like, yeah, sure, it's on the cyclic, but no, don't bind it. So there's things like that. And I won't learn those things until I actually sit down and use them. So again, there's a little bit I could do before the release, but until it's released, there's nothing that I can put out yet. Is there a place where you upload your controller profiles, or do people just copy the templates into their controls? Oh, no, yeah. There is a... So if you go to the Digital Combat Simulator website, so digitalcombatsimulator.com, and then go to the Downloads User Files section, there's a whole section in there of device profiles that people upload. And what you can do to find mine is you could just type my name into the search bar. So there's going to be a little search saying what user you want to see it from. Just put in Tuuvas, Tuuvas, and then set the type to device profile. Then you'll find every single profile I've ever made up until this point. And you can just download and import it, and it'll just work for you in DCS, provided you also follow my YouTube tutorial. Because in YouTube, I show you how to set up a certain set of remaps to make those profiles work. If you don't follow the tutorial, it will not work. There will be a bunch of missing binds that you will not get access to until you follow my tutorial. Device is usually at the top of the list if you choose device profile. Well, yeah, and to be fair, that's only because I was the most recent upload, so... I think the way it lists device profiles off is whoever uploaded last, and I just happen to be among the most recent ones to upload. Oh god, this is tiny. That's tiny. Let's go back down. Lamppost! Lamppost! Oh, lamppost. Let's see if we can go to another area. Let's go to the south area, because I know we want to talk about the coastline, right? So here's the south area. We've already been here, but I know someone said they want to check out the coastline. Also, we're already at the 2-hour mark, so I'm probably going to call it quits pretty soon. It's 5 o'clock for me, and that's... in about an hour, it's going to be dinner time, and we need to take care of a few things. But let's go ahead and check out this coastline to see just how subpar it is. But right off the bat, this port doesn't look too bad. You have a pretty defined wall here to keep vehicles and stuff on the inside. Oh wait, no. Oh, the dirt goes up into that wall, so technically it wouldn't really do a good job of keeping vehicles inside because there's nothing for them to crash into. But still, there's a very defined wall there. Well, let's check out these like little mini islands out here. Random windmill out in the middle of nowhere. I imagine there should be like a power cable that goes under the water and goes to some kind of power cell. Yeah, the coastal area's got it subpar. But you think it looked good? I don't know. So I know this was one of the complaints people had. Like this, for example. See this like harsh line here that goes into the water? To me, that doesn't look... Oh, well, maybe it's by design. I don't know. So that's interesting. I like that there's a wall here, and it looks like that was on purpose. But on the opposite side, you can tell that there's this harsh line that indicates there's no transition from land to sea, and it feels like there should be like a longer beach or something here. But I don't know what this looks like. Like over here, this looks better. Just because you could see the terrain kind of like drifts into and under the water. But there's this other section like over here where it just kind of does a sharp edge like right down, like straight downward. Oh, there we go. There we go. What about the subpen? Oh, is there a submarine area? Oh, I don't know. I don't even know where that's at. Do you know where that is on the map and I could just go there? Thanks, man. Just found it. Nice. Good to hear. Here, let me see if I can find it. Because that sounds very interesting. I didn't realize there was a submarine area. Would it be... Oh boy, I don't even know where to look. Would it be here? Because I know this is a military base here. See if we can find it in F11. It's like this? No, these are just boats. I don't see anything. You can try satellite? Oh, fair enough. You know what? Let me just do Google Maps and see if anything pops up. Like, I imagine I could just look up submarine base in the area and then find it. Submarine base. That is not in the right country. Oh, found it. It is in the northeast. So it is apparently... Oh god, these are not in the same names. I think it's among here. So this should be it here. Yeah, it should be these guys. These. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. I mean, it's not like... I mean, there's a submarine. It's not like a interior base or anything. Wow, that doesn't look great. That's a bit of an eyesore. That is quite a bit of an eyesore. Jesus. Okay, that isn't great. These two sections, and these are very much in the high detail areas of the map. That doesn't look great. Same thing with this. This does not look great. I wonder if there's like supposed to be a building here, so they deformed the terrain, but then they never put the building. Because that's what that looks like. This is like something you would do for a hangar. Like you shape out the terrain, plop the hangar so it doesn't clip into it, and then the hangar like hides what you did to the terrain. But then there's just no building there. Is there like another submarine area besides that? Oh, here we go. Ooh, that looks cool. They have it like on this platform here. Oh, well, it kind of goes into it. Well, that's a little weird. I don't know if that's actually a real thing, but that feels like it's not a real thing. That kind of goes into it. Like, it makes me want to believe that there's like a cutout here that it just kind of like settles into, but I feel like that's not really the case. Interesting. I do think I have a Loach in this area, so give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. It's going to be northeast, I believe. Pretty sure. Northeast, northeast, northeast. Oh no, I'm so far away. That is a hell of a drip. So let me just drop one there really quick. Mission editor. Let's see. We'll drop this guy right here. So that's the first one we saw. The second one is somewhere over here. So we'll just drop this guy off here. This will be the northeast. Yeah, northeast. Okay, cool. Let's give that a shot. I've seen that the boat models are quite nice. Is there like a bunch of like unique boat models, like aside from the submarines we just saw? Let's check those out. Let's see if there's any over here. Oh, things are popping in. Oh, and popping out. Where did those bushes go? There were bushes right here. That's weird. Alright, let's check it out really quick. This will be the last thing I check out because I need to stop. My butt is sore and it's been 2 hours. This is a hell of a slope. Wow, there's a whole bunch of like weird terrain here. Look at this geometry. This is not great. Again, this is like getting it. Like, I can say this isn't game breaking, but my goodness, is this an eyesore? That does not look great. Yeah, that doesn't look great at all. That's crazy. And this is like among the high detail area. Like, if we back up, it's like they took this city and plopped it into like a work in progress terrain. Like, why is there such a big difference in the terrain of this hill and then the city that the city sits on, like the land the city sits on? It's like this whole city is an asset. They just plopped it onto whatever this is. That's crazy. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Hey, Vicarian, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. All right, let's see if we can find that sub bin, and see if we can find any boats as well. I think I just need to go to the north, which is in this direction. Yeah, there's that first sub we found. Oh, look at that. There's like military vehicles as well. That's kind of cool. And just in the same like theme of this general area, they are interestingly colored. They are not nearly as brightly colored as like the civilian vehicles. I mean, understandably so, but they are still very much different colors. Like, this is not what we have in our normal assets of ground vehicles in DCS. These are very much like unique to this map. That's kind of cool. I like that. I do like that. Oh, is the tread off of this particular BMP? Oh, that's interesting. Like, they actually like disconnect the tread, so it looks like it's under maintenance or something. That's pretty cool. I do like that. They're a bit rusty as well. Okay. I will say I do like that. I do like that quite a bit. The tires almost... I was gonna say the tires almost look like they're flat, but I think it's just low polygons. Pretty cool though. I do like that. Doesn't make up for that weird-ass terrain geometry, but still. If the city has an asset... If the city is an asset, imagine how much is meshed underground. Yeah, I know, right? Like, there could be so much happening underneath the entire city, and it's just, like, been consumed by the ground. Alright, let's take a look at this, this submarine over here. See if we can appreciate it. Yeah, there's that terrain there that's just a sudden vertical slope that looks like there should be a building there. I mean, overall, for just being what it is, a submarine, it doesn't look bad. I don't recognize the submarine, so I can't criticize it on whether or not it's accurate. It looks like a good-looking submarine. I like it. You can see bits and pieces of it under the water. See, the dummy that I am would have said, hey, look at these cool looking windows. And then I forget that it's a submarine and they don't have windows. Not great on my Russian sub, but I think it's an alpha class. Okay, well there you go. Probably more of an expert than I am. I'm 100% gonna mistake those BTR for enemy targets. Oh, absolutely. I already do that in the Caucasus map. It's definitely gonna happen in this one. Alright, where's that sub pen though you were talking about earlier? We saw it, but I didn't take note of where it's at. Think it's nearby? Let's get some altitude. Can't be far from here. Yeah, let's fly through the city and see if there's another port on the other side. This should be fun to do. There's some water, but it looks like it's just a little lake. There's a city over there, but that's not connected to any water. Dude, what the heck? Where's that pen? Am I blind? Over here, maybe? Maybe on that side of the, like the other city over there? Oh, wait, that looks like it. Right there. Yeah, that has to be it. Alright, we're going over there. What is this? More military vehicles down here? Going a little fast, might get retreating blade stalled. Let's not. Oh. Let's not destroy our engine either. So we recently got a new dog. Her name's Penny. And she's 1 year old. We also already have an 11-year-old not-so puppy named Pippin. And Pippin's a smart dog. You give him a ball full of treats, he'll nudge it around with his nose, picking it up as it rolls around because that'll drop it out of the hole that you put the treats in. But Penny? Oh man. She just brute forces it. She's trying to rip the ball open, tear it apart, like chewing on it with her sharp teeth that Pippin doesn't have anymore. Oh, that's a good looking boat. Oh, that's a really good looking boat. You weren't kidding. Huh. Like, just looking at it from this perspective, this actually looks really nice. Did people have a problem with this submarine dock? Like, I know that's like kind of low resolution there, but I mean, whatever. It's not a big issue or anything. Like, just this overall thing looks great. And then this boat here, this looks pretty good too. Looking real Soviet around here. Yeah, no kidding, right? Alright, let's take a closer look at this boat here. Dude, like, I don't get it. Like, what's all the drama about? Like, is it just the fact that there's all this, like, read between the line stuff that's happening outside of what's actually been delivered? Like, there's, like what you guys said, like, was it the same project manager as the one that led this as they led the South Atlantic map? And the fact that there's been no updates for the SA map either? Or rather, up until now, there's still been no updates to it? Yeah, it's a great looking boat. We got the speedboats mounted to the side. Like, I would love to see this as, like, an asset that we can use as a ship in-game. Like, if we could tell this to go somewhere and do stuff, that would be pretty cool. Alright, what else is over here? There's a couple more subs on this side. Yeah, man, I don't get it. I don't get what the drama's all about. You guys can tell me what the drama's all about. Let me know. Because I don't get it. Maybe people just like to whine. Let's get them some cheese with that wine. Oh man. Looks like this is just more of the same boat, just a different color. Compared to the one we saw. Oh no, this is the same one as in the dry dock. It's a little bit different. It has the same like antennas or whatever protruding out, but it's definitely a different type of submarine as that very first one we saw. Got a couple more ships here. Oh, interesting. We got cargo ships. Wonder if I can land a Harrier on that one. That's pretty nice. Oh, there's a green version of that same boat. That's pretty cool. A little bit of variance. Again, just in the colors, not in the model itself. But maybe that's good enough. Okay, I have to land on this thing. There's a helipad on it. I have to land on it. Have you looked at the civilian piers yet? No, not yet. This is like... I think I've spawned at the piers, but I never gave them a good look. I just kind of just looked at the cities. So this is pretty much the first pier I'm looking at. Let me land on this and then we'll plop another OH-6 down in one of the civilian piers. Oh boy. This actually isn't that tight. Like if we were flying anything else, this would be a tight fit, but yeah, this is not an issue. That wasn't the most graceful, but that's fine. Hey, yeah, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room here. It is weird seeing this high level of textures on an aircraft, and then it really does clash with the solid, slightly less textured, quite a bit less textured ship here. This is a pretty stark difference. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Maybe I already have one that's in one of those civilian piers. Let's go, let's go north. Let's see. Let's see if this is anything. Looks like this is just an airfield. No civilian pier. It's kind of cool that there's like this simulated fire drill place, because I know they use these for simulating a fire and how to practice with jets that are on fire. So that's pretty cool that this is here. This is definitely not one of those civilian piers. Oh wait, before I go off to something else, this is something that I had issue with. What is this? Is this actual water? Okay, good. So this is actual water. Because I was saying earlier in the stream is this weird. So see how the water here looks like typical DCS water, but as it approaches this area, it gets all muddy and dirty. And when I saw this earlier, when I zoomed all the way in and went right up against it, it was actually just grass and dirt. Like it wasn't actually water, but that was in the unfinished areas of the map. So clearly, as we can see here, this is what those areas should look like eventually, and that is actual water. So clearly those other areas are just not done. Like they're just not finished. So this is a good look as to what they could look like eventually. Okay, let's choose a different slot. Let's go east, like way east. See if we're next to a dock here. We are not. No, I don't see a civilian port here. Let's just look at the map. That's an airfield. There's no dock there, which makes sense because it's just landlocked. There's this, but it's not really a dock. There's this? Nope, don't see a dock there. Where are some docks? Oh, right, that would make sense because all this is landlocked, unless you find a way through here. Maybe this? No. The ledges that change from terrain to water are just, yeah, I know, right? It's very strange just how like quickly they change from terrain to water. Again, I don't know if that's how it is in real life. I don't know this area, but that feels wrong. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So we want to be here. I'll plop a an OH right here, and then we'll check it out. Probably this guy, northeast. Yeah, northeast. Where did I say? Over here? Yeah, this looks right. Yeah, there it is. So we want the northeast one. Let's check it out. Shoo-doo-doo-doo, northeast. Fly. All right. Such a good-looking mod. Look at that center console. Oh. All right, here we go. Well, hopefully this is actually a civilian port and not like a commercial port. Ooh, what the hell? Is that more of the same? Yeah, it's just more of the same. I thought those were like big-ass battleships for a second. Okay, so not a civilian port, but still more of the same. They got the military green going on. But I don't think this is quite what you're expecting though, right? Do you know of an area that has civilian ports that we can look at civilian ships with? Every time I take off in a chopper, I nearly crash the thing. Don't worry, you'll get it with practice. Just put in the hours. Don't worry. You'll get it eventually. And then at some point you'll be able to do cool tricks as well. For instance, let's see if I can do it here. Oh man, I'm gonna totally eat what I'm saying. For instance. Oh, VRS. Oh, no, we can pull out, Yeah, we survived. Check out that water landing. Woo! CH-47, be damned. I mean, technically, that was actually within reason. Like, the blades did not drop into the water. You know, now I kind of want to test it. Oh, let's see how deep we can go before we can't get back out. That's what she said. So if we just touch the water, I mean, obviously we don't want to like submerge the engine, but I doubt there's that level of detail with the damage modeling. Here's the water. We are officially underwater. Oh, and once it touched the blades, that's when it gives up. Okay, so that's the limit. That's pretty funny to see, though. That's pretty funny. All right, let's see if we can find that civilian here. We'll just X that, and then we'll paste it once we find it. Would it be one of these guys? No, these are landlocked. Let's go here. Nope. Here? Oh, here we go. This is potentially... Oh, yeah. Those are smaller ships. Let's check this out. What? What? Here? Yeah, there we go. A little tight. Let's put it over there. Northeast. All right, this is gonna be the last one. I know I said that last time, but for real, this is gonna be the last one. All right, let's go. By the way, guys, if you would like to see VR content, let me know in the comments, because that is something I've been wanting to experiment with. It'll be lower fidelity as far as like textures and shadows and stuff, but it's still gonna be pretty decent. And I feel like you're going to get a lot more enjoyment out of more like natural head movement than just having a locked view like this, because clearly I'm just moving this with a, bless you, with a right stick. And it feels very stiff. So if I were to be playing in VR, I feel like it would be more enjoyable. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see what that's like, and I'll probably do that for the next stream. Alright, let's check this out. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's like a, I wouldn't say a fishing ship or anything, but still not military. Is that like Coast Guard or something? Just because of the orange speedboats? You would love it? Okay, cool. I will keep that in mind. In fact, if you guys want a taste of what that could be like, if you go to my Twitch channel, it'll just be twitch.tv/whatever/Tuvas. You'll see that my most recent stream was in VR. And you'll get a little taste of what that was like. Okay, here's actual civilian ships. Or boats, is probably the more correct term. I mean, these look pretty good. Like, again, I'm not terribly familiar with boats, but that looks like a boat. That looks like a pretty convincing boat, if I do say so myself. And we have different types, I believe. We have different types. Are these? Yeah, these are different types. You know, we got the big boat, we got the smaller boat, and then we got the boat on the other side that's also a boat. Look at that, they're boats. Cool, let me know what you think. These boats don't look bad. What was that? Almost looked like a fish. Thought I saw like a splash in the water for a second. Might have been just these vapors. Let's get as close to this as we can. We're probably going to destroy our rotor blades, but that's okay. Because I need a reason to end the stream, because my voice is killing me. That looks pretty cool. I like it. I like that. Oh, don't get too close. Still want to look at it. Is that a wooden door? It's like a wooden door. Like a little plank to sit on. And a hatch for supplies or something. This looks like a boat that would cost a lot of money, despite its size. From what I understand, planes and boats are those hobbies that just are not financially sustainable. Like, those are very much rich people hobbies. Now, this is a hell of a boat. Jesus. Like, multi-level? Look at that. My goodness. That looks super expensive. Is this one any different over here, or is it just one of those small ones again? No, this actually looks a little bit more different. Like, it doesn't look like the small one. Well, maybe it does. Oh, no, it is the small one. It's just a slightly different color, if I'm not mistaken. Also, it looks like it's tilted a little bit to the left. Don't worry, I can relate. And then one of the expensive ones again. Okay, very cool. It's why I stick to cars and guns. Also expensive but not expensive. Yep, gotcha. That's why I stick to flight sims, because expensive but also not as expensive as either of those. You know, I say that, I'm still playing DCS with a gamepad. Is that more boats over there? That's more boats over there. Let's check this out. Oh, let's test stopping on a dime as well. Check this out. And... halt! Damn. Oh, God! Well, that was... I think my tail hit the water. Oh, well. Let's F11 before we lose it. Very nice, very nice. Of course, there wouldn't be anything inside. Now, if you get super up close... One, the water's clipping through. Two, obviously the texture on the door isn't great. I mean, you should not expect those to be great. Like, that's just getting beyond that. Beyond what's really considered valid criticism. I wonder what that means. Got the same old cars. Oh, you even have a two-tone car. So I was saying earlier that even though you have a bunch of the same cars, at least they're different colors, but like in addition to that, there's one that's like dual tone, like a black top and light bottom. That's cool. Huh. Oh, it just means garage? Oh, God. Goodness. Thought it was something profound. It's just literally garage. The fact that this game has the detail it does still amazes. Yeah, absolutely. Like, the swaying of the trees in the wind... Well, not in the... Wait, do they sway in the wind? Well, I don't have wind in the game, but I'm pretty sure they sway in the wind. If you fly over them with a helicopter, they'll react to the downwash of the blades. Like, there's a lot of stuff and a lot of attention to detail that a lot of people just don't appreciate. They don't realize just how nice it is to have it. We didn't have to have those things, but they put it in there anyways. And it's just really nice. We have a forklift. Look at this. We have a freaking forklift. We didn't need this. And yet it's here. And yet we have a forklift. I mean, if someone complains about this, they have no reason to criticize anything. Like, you should not be complaining about, like, the polygon level of a forklift in DCS. That wouldn't make any sense. We have a trash can with trash. Like, come on. Why? We don't need this level of detail, and yet we got it. Like, there's a lot of effort put into these things, man. Like, unless, of course, like, there's a repository of pre-made assets. Like, if all this stuff was just, like, found on a public, like, repository, then sure, I could probably call it lazy. Well, that's a little lazy. That's a little lazy. Like, all those things together are the same asset. It's not like this is an asset, this is an asset, and that's an asset. Like, these things together are an asset, and also they are lined up exactly the same. Oh, no, there's a little bit of variance. Oh, look at that. There is a tiny bit of variance. Whoa. Okay, I think that's just a rendering issue, but I don't think that could be avoided. Basically, because if I turn my camera away from the building, DCS no longer renders the building, which means there's no source for the shadow calculation, so the shadow just disappears. But I mean, you can't really avoid that. That's just going to be a thing. What is this? Like, why is this in here? Oh, because of that. That would make sense. It doesn't make sense that there's a tree that would be intersecting with that, but that's fine, I guess. Just that I don't think anyone's ever going to see this. But we're seeing it here, and we're appreciating it now. So maybe it was worth it. It's Coling geometry, yeah. Yep. Because you don't want to render absolutely everything, because then everything would just be horrible. It would just be horrible performance all around. Wow, even these buildings are different. Wow, this is a completely new set of buildings. Like, these are apartments I haven't seen before. Wow, these actually look pretty good. Yeah, that's actually not bad. I mean, obviously it's cookie cutter, but it's like, it's meant to be, you know? It looks like it was meant to be that way. You got random cars in the parking lot next to the entrances of buildings. I'd go crazy if you could see like a handicap spot that this car is parked in just because it was next to a door. That'd be crazy. Again, that would have been an attention to a level of attention to detail that would have been unnecessary. But I would have definitely gone crazy if we saw that. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still unsure why people are complaining a lot. I know there's areas where obviously there's a bit of work that needs to be done. One, a bit of work, which is the unfinished areas, and two, the quote unquote worked on areas. I really shouldn't say finished because they're not finished. But the areas that are claimed to be high detail, there is still sections of it that need to be worked on. So if we can highlight those areas, and hopefully they can be addressed. Oh gosh, where is it? It was here. It was the submarine base that was... I thought it was right here. What's this? Is this another one? I guess that's another dry dock. A different one from before. But yeah, like right here. You can actually see it already. So there's these bits of terrain that are obviously like separate from this bit of terrain. Like there was clearly manual work done here. There was manual work done to flatten out this part of the terrain, remove the trees, but then they didn't do anything with it. Like it's almost like there should have been buildings somewhere like right here to blend in between the work that they'd done to flatten it out and the work that wasn't done to get rid of it, to not get rid of it. So things like that. So I'm not going to say it's finished areas. It's just a higher detail areas that still have work to be done. Also this bit of shadow is really weird. Like random ass bush that's just clinging onto the side like Spider-Man. But yeah, overall, not bad. I would say this map is not a bad map. It is unfinished, but hopefully the sins of the past do not catch up with this map as well. Because I will admit, South Atlantic is still incomplete despite having been available for so long. I really hope the Kola map does not follow that same route. Well, only time will tell. Just because the same project manager is the lead for it, doesn't mean it'll also happen for it. Only time will tell. Why does this video have like 12,000 comments? Does it? I mean, I know there's a live chat that's going on, but I've only had... Oh god. I don't even know how to check how many comments there is. But yeah, so either way. I think that'll be it for me today, because I am currently sitting at just shy of 3 hours of live streaming, and normally I only... Oh god, I can't even talk right now. That's how long it's been. Normally I only do 2 hours. So thank you all for joining. If you like this content, feel free to give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a follow, whatever it is YouTube is asking you to do nowadays, and tune in next time for some more DCS World live streams. Take care, guys. Have a nice day.